Hi everybody, Chris Stokes from Custom Fitness Personal Training Studio. Today's topic, what is your pain level? What on earth are we talking about? Well, we're actually not talking about physical pain as much as we are mental and emotional pain today. So, there's a saying that says that change will not occur until the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change. Because we know how painful change can be. We know how much that humans in general just really don't like change. It's not something that we jump for joy over, unless, of course, we can control it. Feel free to look back on our post about being able to stay in control of things. But if we're able to control it, then we have this different sensation of what change is and what change can be. Whereas whenever it is an out of control change or something that maybe doesn't quite go the way that we want it to, maybe it's not as easy as we want it to, or maybe it's not exactly the way that we want it to be, then it can be quite painful. So if you think about that again, change will not occur until the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change. So this applies to personal life, this applies to your business, this applies to your family life, it applies to your spirituality. All of it gets put into this bucket with the same idea that where change may be necessary, change may not be something that you're ready to take hold of yet. So I have a story for you today. It's about a woman that I worked with a few years back. Her name is Sue, and she was healthy and fit and happy in her 30s, just having a great life. Your typical 30-ish person who went to the gym, worked out, felt great, had kids, ran them all over the place, took care of things at home, took care of things at work, just all these wonderful things. Well, she had some pretty life-altering things happen to her that were not quite as positive as some of the things that we'd like to have happen. So it led her into a state of depression that led to a 100-pound weight gain, 100 pounds. Now, this wasn't instantaneously. This was over months. This was actually over a few years that this happened. That she gained 100 pounds. She became diabetic. She had high blood pressure. She had high cholesterol. She wasn't doing so good anymore, and she had just breached that 40-year-old mark. So in the beginning, whenever it started, she thought, well, this is just how it feels to be 40. Whereas later on, it became more apparent that it was something that really wasn't anything to do with age, and it was more about environmental factors, what was going on in her life and how things were happening. And at that point, she wasn't ready to change. At that point, she felt like she could handle it. She tried going to the gym. She tried every diet plan out there. I know lots of you would agree that sometimes that leads to more frustration than good, because you end up trying all these things and feeling like you are completely lost, like your body just won't do what you want it to do. But part of that also lies in the fact of the question, are you ready to change? Are you mentally ready to accept the things that you have to do in order to make those changes? Well, a lot of times we'll do some of a nutrition plan or we'll do some of an exercise plan, but we won't do it with our full heart, or we won't do it in full, and we end up with less results than what we think we should, even though we didn't put forth 100% effort. Sounds kind of silly whenever you say it that way, but that's really what happens. So this sweet woman came in and asked for help. She finally had a moment in her life. It's like a light switch flipped one day. And she woke up and she thought, you know what, I'm done and I need help. And it's time to change. It's time to do this all out and actually make a difference. So she came in and worked with myself and my team. And she was dedicated. She was motivated. She had made that decision. She was ready to change, because the pain of staying the same, dealing with that depression, dealing with the weight gain, dealing with the disease, it became unbearable. And so as she came in, she was dedicated, she was ready to go and get her life back. And in just 8 months, she lost 75 pounds. She lowered her A1C to pre-diabetic levels. Now, once you are considered diabetic, the doctors have a really hard time telling you that you're not. But as you eat better and you exercise, those kinds of things, oftentimes the body will heal itself. And so she was able to lower A1C. She was able to lower her blood pressure and her cholesterol into healthy levels. They still medicated lightly, but they were able to cut her off of, I can't even tell you how many medications. And it just really brought her joy back to life. It brought her back so that she could enjoy life. And yes, weight loss was a goal of hers, but really what she got was improved quality of life, which led to being able to move better, to feel better, to want to do things, which led to the weight loss that she experienced. So really, a lot of times whenever we're looking in the mirror and we're seeing these areas that we feel like we need to improve on, we feel like we need to lose weight, or we feel like we need to trim or tone or get rid of this jiggle area or change this about ourselves, really, if we can improve the quality of our life, whether it be physically, being able to move better, feel better, or whether it be emotionally, being happier with who we already are and being willing to accept ourselves and love ourselves for who and what we are, then we'll be able to reach the goals that we're wanting in the mirror. But really, first, we're going to improve our quality of life. So I ask you again, what is your pain level today? Where are you at in the process of change? Is there something that needs to change? Especially as women, we tend to look in the mirror and we will always find something wrong. We have a very hard time looking in the mirror and finding what is right. And instead, we always pinpoint those little areas. We may have lost 25, 30 pounds, but you'll still look in the mirror and see that one area that you feel like, oh, that just needs to change. This hasn't done it yet. But instead, if you take a moment to figure out how you can accept and love yourself for where you're at today, and then think about, am I truly ready to change? Do I have the desire to become something better or someone better? And that's really all that we look for. There's never perfection. There's never an end to the journey, because the journey is always about being better, and we can always be a little bit better. So if that resonates with you today and you'd like a little bit of help from us, feel free to give us a call, 806-322-3188. We'd love to set you up for a consultation to sit down with you, listen more to your story, what you've been through, what you're wanting to achieve, and see if we're the right fit for you. So feel free to give us a call. I hope you have a great day. And if you didn't get something out of this, I hope that you'll share it with someone who would.